And then the big two P's. And these are the main reasons why people are not productive. I saved the best for last. The first one is procrastination. People just procrastinate. And procrastinate meaning that they put something that they need to do to later on. And you know what's the real reason for procrastination? Fear. Fearful of, so we say, you know what, I'm just going to do it later. So the best thing to do to handle procrastination is what we call eat the frog. Imagine you have frogs. So the minute you wake up, eat the frog. The frog is ugly, but eat it, though, by the way, in France it's a délicatesse, you know what I mean? And I love frogs, it tastes really good. But whoever doesn't eat frogs, you know, just start with the frog, meaning the ugliest task that you have. Finish it, and your whole day is be yours. Instead of going through the whole days, playing game minds on yourself, going around and around and around, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and you get distracted with 100 things and never do the task that you do. And then you leave it to tomorrow, and tomorrow is the same story. And then after tomorrow is the same story. Procrastination is not a good thing. And what is the main excuse of procrastinators? I want it to be perfect. I have news for you. There is no perfection in life. There is no perfection. Actually, the word perfection meaning that you have to produce it to perfect it, right? So how can you perfect it if you don't produce it? So you need to actually produce something and then start. When you look only about perfection, you are narrowing your mind. You're narrowing your tunnel. You know, you actually put yourself in a way where you judge yourself and you measure yourself, and you know you're never going to be good enough. Perfection is procrastination. Perfection and procrastinations are fears. Just remember that. There is nothing called perfect. Nothing called perfect. And you know what? No one expects you to be perfect. When someone starts telling me, I want to be perfect, I'm like, yeah, right. You know, it's like, when someone tells me I'm perfect, I tell them, talk to me about your fears. Yes.
For me, I procrastinate more because I like the adrenaline rush of having a shorter amount of time to do something.
So how is your productivity?
When I need to get done, I get done.
Yeah, but what about the other days that you need to be productive?
I do a lot in a day.
Okay.
I'm productive that way, but it's just like, if I know I have a deadline to turn a script in next Wednesday, I will be super creative and super productive with that task on Tuesday.
You know that's kind of an addiction, right?
I know, maybe, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's actually like an addiction. It's like you take your drug, the drug is adrenaline, so you move forward, and then you have a crash. You know, and the crash, that means that your productivity will go really down till you find that actual reason to rush your adrenaline again. So be careful with that, because a lot of rush of adrenaline in your body is not good for you. You're young now, you're okay, but it's not good for you in the life. It's not good on your stress level, it's not good on your blood pressure, it's not good on your heart, on your liver, on your kidneys. It's not really good for you.
Right, but then how do, I've been trying to not have that, but it's so hard.
Hopefully with whatever tools I'm going to give you today, that will give you a reason. I'll be happy to talk to you after that too.
Okay.
You know? Saying yes to everything. We say yes, we learn if we don't say yes, people are not going to like us. People are not going to love us. Or people are going to shame us. You know what I mean? And it's okay to say no. Don't feel any shame or guilt by saying no, but do it in an assertive way. Maybe you can give a reason why you cannot do it now. It's very important to learn how to say no. You need to be very selfish with your time. You really do. So we're going to talk about that as part of the solution. The philosophies is how you act. So the first thing that you need to have is clarity. Be very clear on your focus. What is it that you want to achieve? It's about how you work with your brain. Remember, we have a logical part. You need to always go from the fear that is in the back to the logical part in the front. You need to stop actually and write it down or talk to yourself. Or have an accountability partner or a coach or a mentor. You know, I highly suggest that you have mentors. Yes?
So I know you mentioned that all the identities that we have, you know, we're students, we're workers, we're this, we're that. So would we put tasks pertaining to different parts of our day that we need to do? Like, for instance, I'm a full-time student, but I also work. So how do you, again, is it going back to the priorities?
Priorities. What is your priority? Do you have an exam coming in a month? Like if I have a project that I need to deliver in a month, I don't wait till I used to wait like you, till the last 3 days, and I'm working 24/7, and I produce. I don't do that anymore because it burned me. So what I do is like I know, so every day I have half an hour to an hour, and we're going to talk about that in a second, in my calendar blocked. You know, when I coach people that are successful and they say, we're working on this, I tell them, can you show it to me on your calendar? And if you don't have it on your calendar, it's not going to be done. You need to schedule everything on a calendar. That's what I always say, right? If it's not on your calendar, it's not going to happen. Your eyes has to see it, to translate it to your brain that it's something has to do. And this is what we kept saying, the repetition that needs, your eye needs to see it all the time. Vision, you have to see it to be able to translate into your brain. Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. And then you need to be clarity. You need to have focus. Focus on what you do, and that's why we need to know what are the energy rubbers. What is really rubbing your energy? Is it a coworker that stops by your desk and starts talking? Is it your cousin that will call you on the phone for hours to tell you her problem? Is it your little pet that you play with? What is it? You need to know. And you know what, for example, last Monday I was home. I work from home. I have a back office in the house. And my husband was off that day. You know, and I was delivering a very big speech the second day in a big conference. And you know, I didn't know he was going to stay home, but I planned that whole day to put the final point. You know what I did? I said, I'm sorry, but I have, and I went back to the office. I was there from 9 to 5. I did not get out. I mean, the poor thing brought me like food and water and everything, but it just to help me, but I did not get out. You know, it's about focus. It's about discipline. Productivity is about discipline. It's not about like, and we can have all the excuses in the world. And trust me, after consulting more than 500 small businesses in the last 4 years, I heard them all. I heard them all. And I'm not the kind that will sugarcoat things, right? So it's just like, I will just say it as it is. Talk to your fears. And there is nothing wrong with having fear. We all have, I still have fears till now. It's just knowing what they are and dealing with them one by one. If you can do it by yourself, look for help. Look for mentors. Look for coaches. If you don't want to hire a coach, look for mentors. I personally have 3 different mentors at any stage of my life, different ones in different areas of my life. You cannot have enough mentors, you know? So it's about alignment, knowing where you want to go, and what is your purpose in life? And you will tell me, I'm not sure yet. I want to be good. And I usually hear, I want to help people. I want to have impact on people. What does that mean? This is too generic. And then slow down to speed up. Take the time up front to research things. Don't start something and keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there is an advice that I'm going to give you. Whatever you touch, do it once. If you touch a bill, pay it or throw it away. If you touch an email, answer it or delete it. Whatever you touch, do it or leave it. Whenever you leave something, you either forget it or you're going to lose more time to it. Okay? So whatever you touch only once. Was there a hand there? No, I guess not. Okay.
Excuse me,
Keep.
Sanjay?
Yes.
Going back to the touch only once, it kind of brings me back to just organizing my mind, because a lot of times I create piles of things trying to organize and be productive, and that kind of triggered something. Just okay, you touch something, and I keep saying, well, maybe I might need it, and so if I'm either going to touch it, deal with it right there and then, or chuck it, right?
Exactly. I used to put stuff, I'm just going to put them here till I finish this and then I'm going to move it. 3 months later, they're still here. A year later, let's give it to Salvation Army. You know what I mean? So whatever you touch once, because if not, you're going to totally decrease your productivity. Productivity is not what people think about. It's not time management. It's not to-do list. It has to do with our physiology and our psychology. So commitment, you have to, of course, to be committed, and you have to have the courage for it. My own